Hey, so what's up you guys? Mad Hatter here. I am going to show you today, if you're interested, keep on watching, what's in this little palette. I've tried to do Colourpop today. Let's see if I can do it. We're going to try and do the Sailor Moon and Colourpop collection. I know a lot of countries couldn't get it and it sold out really fast, so I thought it'd be fun to do this one with stuff that is mostly already in other Colourpop palettes, and that's kind of what didn't really sell me on the Sailor Moon palette. It was just like I immediately, upon looking at it, with the exception of the purples, I was like, I have that. So just thought it'd be fun to go over that with you guys. But yeah, here's the 12 pan palette, and I mostly used the Colourpop Sweet Talk palette, and I mostly used the Ooh La La palette. I've got a couple from the Aha Honey palette. And then I think I have two from the Dream Street and Kathleen Lights palette, so which are discontinued now. So I have these two. So those are the palettes that I'm kind of pulling from. I've got this first one in the top left. Kind of looks like just like a kind of a cool, or excuse me, it looks kind of like a warm peachy neutral. This is the Sweet Talk Catch Me. It was the very first one in their palette, that lighter color. And then next going across is another peachy shade that was really close to that one on the left. It looks just slightly more vibrant. And then next was like a shimmery kind of pinky shade. This next one is Tickled from the Ooh La La Colourpop palette. Then this one in the top right, I really couldn't figure out, depending on the photo and the lighting, it looked kind of like a cool brown, or it looked like almost like another version of this here, just like another kind of peachy orangey shade, which there is one that I thought that you really could use in the palette here. Like you could probably use this lightest one for this brown, or you know, something like this, which is way too warm I think for what they were. So the best thing that I went with was kind of like a cooler brown. This is called Shooting Star from the Dream Street Colourpop palette, and I thought it was kind of a good mix between like a peach and a brown, since I couldn't really tell based off of different photos, you know, what it was. Some photos it looked almost as vibrant as like this. The next is from the Aha Honey palette, and this is Queen Bee, and it kind of looked like, of the few metallics in here, this was somewhere between like an antique gold and like a champagne. So that's the closest thing I had. I think it's way more intense than what that palette did, but I thought it was kind of nice to try and dupe in there, even though it's not exact. It still goes together with these colors. It's actually a little bit lighter. I just thought it was so similar to this and the next one that I'd go ahead and cheat a little and just make it a bit more bronzy. Let's see, this next one is from the Ooh La La, and it's Moonstruck. It's that most like yellow color in the palette. And it's actually quite a nice peach that I think is a good dupe for this. I noticed I'm looking off like the Colourpop's website and then like swatches that I saw online to kind of get my photo reference. And yeah, I think that I'm pretty close. I know that this is just a little bit more saturated, but yeah, these three metallics were kind of very similar looking. This one being a bit more yellow. And I did have one that kind of worked better. It was more of an antique gold from my old Gwen Stefani palette and Urban Decay that I took apart, but I figured I would use something that's a little bit more like, you know, most people will have it more than likely compared to that that old palette. So being that, you know, that's kind of why I picked these instead from the Honey. So yeah, this was from, what did I say? This is from, yeah, the Ooh La La palette. But I also feel like if you had this, you could kind of get away with another one of these shades like this here. Or even this here. So you have other options. Like you could almost build the whole Sweet Talk, like from the Sweet Talk palette, with the exception of like maybe these here, and then obviously these two, but I mean pretty much half the palette you could do. And I'm about to do the pressed glitter next, which you could have done one of these pressed glitters. Like I think Prima Drama is probably actually a little bit closer to what's in the actual reference photo. So let's go ahead and do, this is Indio. It's kind of like a taupey, purpley, chunky pressed glitter from Colourpop. And then the Sailor Moon Pretty Guardian palette, I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. It was a pressed glitter, and I went back and forth with just replacing this with some kind of metallic opposed to a pressed glitter, but I happen to have one that looks pretty close, so. Next is what I found to be the most intriguing color in the palette, and I wound up recently purchasing the Lilac You a Lot palette from Colourpop, and this is Fluff. It comes from that. So I really try to put this together with like monochromatic palettes from Colourpop, and then mostly the Sweet Talk palette. Here's Fluff. Really pretty shade with the peaches and that glitter. Really nice color combos. I didn't think that this was really all that exciting when I first saw the release of it online, and then as I kind of put this palette together, I'm like, wow, this is really pretty. Kind of excited to use it more than I would have thought if I had purchased it. Okay, so next is the yellow from the Honey palette. Let's see, which one are you? Stinger. It's one of the most true yellows. So next is from Sweet Talk, and this is Meadow. It's a very pastel-y, but yet still neon kind of color. It's really neat. And then this is Froze from the Colourpop Mean Squeeze palettes, their red monochromatic palette. And it was just a bit pinkier, or more red I should say, than this color here before it. So these last four are really pretty. The next one I'm about to do looks pretty spot on compared to my online references that I'm looking off of. Because it looks to be, in some pictures it looked very purple, but in most of the swatches, including Colourpop's website, I noticed that it's more of like a vibrant, like hot pink. So this is, I believe, Opulent. Yes, Opulent from the Ooh La La palette, Colourpop. So I thought this was a pretty decent dupe palette for the Colourpop and Sailor Moon palette, which quickly sold out and again really couldn't be accessed in all countries. So I thought this would be a fun palette to dupe and swatch, and I knew that I had pretty close colors and I think I got pretty spot on. These shimmers might be slightly different, but I think given like the colors, they're gonna be really fun to play with. And I wasn't sure again if this was like a neutral brown or more of like a dusty orange. So I kind of went for something in between because different photos online and different references online. So there you guys have it. There is my version of the Sailor Moon Colourpop collection eyeshadow palette using Colourpop shadows to dupe it. So hopefully you guys found this fun and inspiring to play around with your collection and see what you can come up with, and you know, do your already own things. And if you can't get a hold of it, it's okay because it's available in other palettes essentially. I mean, look how close I got. What do you guys think of the Sailor Moon Colourpop palette if you did get your hands on it? Now everything's pretty hard to get your hands on. At the time that got released, it was pretty hard, and I have to say, all in all, my thoughts are kind of, I'm glad I passed it up. I think I got caught up in the packaging, which even looking back I'm like, it's holographic like material. It's a really cool concept, but I don't think I get that much use out of it. In fact, I kind of can't wait to take the colors out of this and use it for something else. I'm kind of over it, so yeah. Thanks you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in my next video.